Are you struggling to decide between the RTX 4060 Ti 16GB and the RTX 4070 12GB for a smooth 4K gaming experience? Well, let's compare the two to find out. I'm using the Ryzen 5 7600X gaming PC build paired with the 4K 240Hz OLED monitor by MSI. This is 321URX. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can buy them at the links in the description below. The RTX 4070 usually consumes between 180 and 200 watts of power during gaming. In contrast, the 4060 Ti consumes about 150 watts of power on average during gaming. Let's start with the RTX 4070 in the most demanding game of 2024 so far, Hellblade 2. If we want to use the highest graphics quality preset, which is high, then we must use frame generation, and DLSS resolution upscaling has to be on performance. Using these settings, we should be able to maintain that 60 plus FPS consistently, even in worst case scenarios in this game. This right here is one of those worst case scenarios. We've briefly seen 59 FPS. However, as I said, it stays above 60 most of the time, which is what we want to see. If you don't want to use frame generation, then you have to lower the graphics quality to medium and keep DLSS on performance. That way you'll have above 60 FPS in regular scenes. And let's have a look what the performance will be like in worst case scenarios. Okay, so we are already dropping below 60 FPS, but not by much. 57, 56, not too bad, not too bad. I think this is acceptable for worst case scenarios. There's another decent set of settings for the RTX 4070 in this game. Let's set graphics quality to medium, DLSS on balanced, and frame generation on. Looking at the forest from above, we are getting well above 70 FPS. Nice, nice. Let's see if we can stay above 60 once we start descending into the forest. I think we will. 74, 75. Yeah, this is pretty good. Finer details, like tree branches, look better with DLSS set to balanced compared to DLSS performance we used previously. So there is an image quality advantage we are getting here with the RTX 4070. The RTX 4070 is out and the 4060 Ti is in. Let's see if the 4060 Ti can handle the highest graphics quality preset. And we'll start with frame generation on, DLSS on performance. And this is not promising. We are already below 60 FPS. So if you want to play the most demanding games in 2024 using the highest graphics quality preset, then the 4060 Ti is not it, because you will not be getting that 60 FPS experience. Right now, we're at 48, we've seen the lowest at around 44 FPS, so this is not ideal. However, we can make some adjustments and still have a good experience using the 4060 Ti. Let's see what will happen when we reduce the graphics quality to medium. This is way more promising. We are getting well above 60 FPS in this location. Let's see the worst case scenario. I'm pretty sure that the FPS will indeed drop below 60, but how far? I've seen 59. Again, 59, 60. There you have it. There is your 60 FPS experience. Because this is one of the worst case scenarios, you can expect to play this game at above 60 FPS in other locations, like in the one right here, we're getting 70 plus FPS. This is a great experience. The thing is that medium graphics quality preset in this game looks absolutely gorgeous, and to be honest, I cannot tell the difference between medium and high graphics presets in this game. I think that this is a pretty good experience, and you should not be worried that you won't be able to play the latest, most demanding games using the 4060 Ti 16GB model. But that's my take. Let me know in the comments, what do you think about this? We are back with the RTX 4070 in Ghost of Tsushima. Very high graphics quality preset, and at 4K it will be enough to use DLSS quality. No frame generation required if you are going to use the 4070 to play this game. Check this out. We have well above 60 FPS in the Golden Temple area. This is nice. The image quality is so crisp thanks to the fact that we are using DLSS quality, not DLSS performance as we did in Hellblade 2. Even 1% lows stay at about 60 FPS. This is great experience, and you have options to actually improve performance if you choose to. Just select DLSS balanced if you want more FPS. Let's try it now. DLSS set to balanced. Now we are getting 70 plus FPS, which means that even in worst case scenarios, it is highly unlikely that the FPS will drop below 60. In this particular game, I do not recommend using frame generation on the 4070 because this game has some issues. As you keep playing the game, it will continue utilizing more and more video memory, and eventually the 12 gigabytes will not be enough, and the game will drop performance to something like 40 FPS. This issue happened to me on multiple occasions after playing for about an hour. While it's not a huge issue, it is still quite annoying when you're trying to enjoy the game, just staying immersed, and then suddenly you have to quit the game and reload it, and that performance drop can occur at any time. So you could be in the middle of a mission and you will have to reload the game and lose some of your progress. This issue can be fixed by the game developer, however, it's been a long time since the game launched and there's still no fix for this particular issue. By the way, I did not experience the same problem while using the RTX 4060 16GB card. It appears that that extra 4GB of memory actually is quite handy. If that issue wasn't present, we could use DLSS frame generation to boost our FPS even higher. So while using DLSS balanced, we would get close to 90 FPS. Yeah, this would have been nice. This is something that you have to keep in mind when choosing between these two graphics cards, because 12 gigabytes is just barely enough to play the latest games in 2024. However, at the same time, if the GPU is weak and cannot fully utilize that 16 gigabytes of memory, then there is no point in having that extra video memory anyway. Now let's see what the 4060 Ti can do in Ghost of Tsushima. We're still using very high graphics preset, and let's check what kind of performance we can get with DLSS set to balanced. Just a reminder, we were able to achieve a consistent 60 plus FPS experience using DLSS quality on the RTX 4070. However, even using DLSS balanced on the 4060 Ti, we cannot get that consistent 60 FPS experience. What I would do in this situation is enable frame generation. I had no issues using frame generation on the 4060 Ti because it has 16 gigabytes of memory, so this is a viable option. Although we are getting dangerously close to that 60 FPS mark in some of the scenes, I'm guessing that there will be some areas in the game where the FPS will drop below 60. To make sure that that doesn't happen, we must use a more aggressive upscaling. Let's set DLSS to performance and take a look. This is much better. We are getting 69 FPS. Nice. Yeah, this is the way to go, I think. If you are using the RTX 4060 Ti at 4K resolution in Ghosts of Tsushima or any other similar game with similar performance, this is a pretty good experience. And sure, DLSS set to performance doesn't look as sharp as DLSS balanced, but the game still feels great. It is still enjoyable and very much playable. In conclusion, both graphics cards did really well at 4K, so it makes the 4070 Ti very difficult to recommend because it is $100 more expensive. If you are leaning more towards the 4070, then you might as well spend another $50 and get the 4070 Super instead. That one is much better than the 4070. I know that because I'm using the 4070 Super in my personal 4K gaming PC, and I've completed Hellblade 2, Ghosts of Tsushima, as well as Horizon Forbidden West using that graphics card. The only concern I have with the 4060 Ti is that it doesn't have that extra power to tackle future games. It is great for right here and right now, but we just don't know what the next year will bring. Who knows, maybe there will be games that are even more demanding than Hellblade 2. If you're interested in any of the products featured in this video, you can buy them at the links in the description below. And let me know in the comments, what do you think about the 4070 versus the 4060 Ti at 4K? If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to reward it with a like, and subscribe for more if you haven't already. It was I, Vadim. Until next time.